All right, welcome back. We're going to put the Predicta Tandem here through its final paces. I just finished cleaning the umbilical, all, 20 some odd feet of it. And the cabinet has been reassembled. Chassis is back in it, knobs are reattached. And I also grabbed some hardware to put the back on a little bit more appropriate, and I'll show you that in just a second. Also, cleaned the original line cord. Has no cracks in it, still in decent shape, still riveted to the back. So we're going to use that. Now let me flip this around here. I spent a little bit of time with some non-pumice hand cleaner taking the dirt off the top of this. Not much I can do about this great big spot right here where the monitor had been sitting for several years. This is kind of a permanent stain, really. Now, let me bring you in so we can take a look here. Apologies in advance for the lighting. We're in the living room, so we've only got one chandelier to work with. The backs on a lot of these I've noticed, quarter-inch head retaining hardware is pretty much the norm, self-tapping style of screw. And 9 times out of 10, you're going to get like 2 screws still holding the back on. And that's if the back is even there still. Sometimes you get lucky, but on some of the sets I have, like that 7-inch Admiral I just picked up, the back is gone. Not that big of a problem. It's not like these have an antenna built into them or anything, but it is kind of a bummer because it usually has some of the details, model number and stuff attached to it, and a lot of times the line cord is attached to it as part of the AC interlock. Now, as far as retaining the chassis goes, there are 2 self-tapping sheet metal screws that go in the bottom. In fact, I think there's a cutout here for one and a cutout here for the other, so you can get to them. Those I just used, let's see if I can find it here. Yeah, these are number 8. I think I used 1/2 inch. These are hex slotted screws. I tried to find these without the slot. That's not very easy. Practically all the sheet metal screws you're going to find are going to have a flathead slot in them. And that's long enough, it engages correctly, allows you to use a 1/4-inch screwdriver. But the screws that hold the back on are typically painted like this, and they don't have the slot. Most of the hardware is not supposed to have the slot, and they have a little bit of a washer shape to the heads. I had none of those left, but I was able to find at my local Lowe's these guys. They're self-drilling. I don't care much for the self-drilling aspect. The end there is made for like going through sheet metal, probably for holding flashing on a roof or something. Number 8's 9/16 long, and these look pretty darn close to a sort of oil-rubbed bronze-ish look. And that's what I'm using to hold the back on. Don't have the slots, so they're a little more appropriate. This wood, though, is very soft. And these holes have obviously had the screws put in and removed a lot, so they're a little loose, so I was gentle putting these in because it's very easy to strip out the remnants of the wood hole without having to go up another size or drill new holes and put the hardware somewhere else. In fact, I tried getting screws in these 2 positions in the side here, and they just didn't tap worth a damn. So the wood's probably toast there. But I've got at least 7 of them in there, 4 at the top, 3 at the bottom. That's holding nicely. So that worked out. Now the chassis does have a 3rd retention screw at the top here. There's actually a nut plate all the way on the other side of this wood piece. It's about maybe an inch or so in terms of depth. I wound up having to go with a, where is it? Well, I think it was a number 8 by 1.5 inch sheet metal self-tapping screw before it would actually hit those threads and engage all the way so I could tighten it. But that worked out great. They're inexpensive. You should be able to find them in any major home improvement store, or if you have a good hardware store like a McClendon's or something, they'll definitely have them. That's just one of the little detail things I like. Now that I have that pack, I'll be able to replace these screws in my Predictas. And a lot of other TVs of the period use screws very similar to that, probably all number 8s with a 1/4-inch head. So, that out of the way, I'm going to get the screen back up here. We're going to plug it in, and I'm going to hook up my cable box and see how everything does. That is not bad. It's not perfect. Let me see, is it watchable in the light? Yeah. I mean, obviously you can't be exceptionally far away from this. I take that back. You absolutely can. You've got over 15 feet worth of wire. You could take the screen with you if you felt like tripping over it. But it does work. Modern programming looks a little odd on it. But I'm told that's kind of typical with old TVs. Too much information in the video kind of messes with them. But it does work. I am still a little bummed.
Signed by attorneys, but customized by you. One question at a time.
About the level of audio that I have. I couldn't get it above that level. Checked all the resistors. B+ in the audio section was good. Tubes are good. Speakers fine. That's just all it would give me. Either way, I'm pretty happy with this. Check, make sure we can turn off channel. Yep. Now, let me see what happens when I flip the modulator on this guy to channel 4 instead of channel 3. Lose it. Okay, we lost it. Let's see if we get it on. We do. Excellent. However, well, no, I guess their heads look okay. I'm looking at the vertical linearity here. I might break out the pattern generator and make a quick look and verify that the linearity hasn't gone squishy at the top. But
As big as you are.
It's forgotten.
Good. Gilligan, what did you think of my Mark Antony, little buddy?
It's forgotten.
But yeah, works on channel 3 and channel 4. Not giving them my cable box, I've only got the one. But it seems to work good. And the reception in here is pretty good during the day anyway. But I think that's going to do it for the Predicta Tandem here. I spoke with the owner. I need to organize getting it back to him. But I tell you what, the second that he asked about whether or not it was done, I told him it was. And he said, fantastic, because my Predicta pedestal just stopped working. So I'm going to probably wind up working on that. I don't think I'm going to film it. I might show it off at some point, but I'm at the point where these are no longer fun to work on, and once you've done a holiday, the guts of they're all pretty much the same internally. If I see something really weird, maybe I'll add it in, but I'm probably not going to bother. I've got some radio stuff I want to do beforehand. I've got some car stuff I also want to take care of. But yeah, for now, this will work. Now, one thing I did look at was, you can see how a lot of the information is cut off here at the bottom. When I aligned the screen, what I did was the rectangle that it produces, I put the corners of that within the shadow mask here, thinking that that would work the best. I don't know how Philco had it set up, because if you shrink it too far down, you're probably going to wind up seeing the edges of the image, and I wanted to avoid that. But again, I'll verify with the generator and make sure that the adjustments haven't changed. And plus, I need to let this run for a half hour plus. Now that it's in the cabinet, I need to see if I leave it on and let the whole thing cook, that we don't get any weird issues. But that'll do it for now. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.